Today I conduct the lectures Object Analyzing Design in C++ for the third week. Last week I conduct object and class and constructor, deconstructor and pointers. Now let's start today's lesson object-oriented programming in C++. Access specifiers. Access specifiers public, protected and private. Public. Members declare as a public. We can declare as a public members are accessible from outside the class through an object of the class. If we can define members mean or object variables and method under the public, we can access all the places in the side class, outside class, every places we can access public method or variable. And protected members declare as a protected are accessible from outside the class, but limitation there, but only in a class derived from it. Only can access subclasses. Protected variable can access outside subclasses and inside the class. Private method only can access inside the class. Private method also like a default method, right? This is also like a default method. Private and protected have similar properties, but protected we can also use subclasses, but private variable cannot be used in subclasses. The default variable is the private variable itself. Private and default is the same. If the private default variable mean it is not defined in front of the public or protected or private. For example, in text, if you are defined globally in class in text, this is a default variable. This is a matrix of the private specifiers, private, protected, and public. Private variable or method can access only within same class. Within same class, can't be accessed to subclass or outside class. Protected can access within the class and derived class. Public classes can access all the places. You can see an protected and private has same quality, like outside class cannot be the access, private and protected. Encapsulation, wrapping up data and function into single unit. When all the members and functions are combined in a single unit called class, this process is called encapsulation. For example, in a company, two software projects are going on with two different teams. One team requires data from other team, but the team cannot access the data from other team because they do not have the appropriate permission. That is a called encapsulation. In software, two software team there, each software team, one of the software team can't access other software team data. This is a called encapsulation. Advantage, restrict access. You can restrict access to the internal data. Easy maintenance. You can see encapsulation is hiding the detail of the implementation of an object. Encapsulation. You can see this is student's table class name. After private, under the private, define one variable is password key, right? Password key, and this is a public. Under the public, create a two method. No, this private variable can't be accessed outside the class, but this public method can access all the places. In the public method, assign to the private variable value. Inside the class can access private method, private variable. In private, this private variable value assigned in here. After this value is returned to the other method. After going to main method, student is mean to the class name create object. After to the object password key assign 2 3. This is a can't be accessed. This is error. Right? This is a private variable. It can't be accessed outside the class, right? This means we need to come in this one. After s dot read password key, read this method. But this method, no problem. It is a public method. This means to the object we can call. And also, this is a view password key. This is also public. To the object we can call. Okay, we can get out. By these two are the public method. This means we can call. But inside the public method we can define private variable. That is a call encapsulation, because both data members and function members are including in single class, are including data members and functions are defined in the same class. This support encapsulation. Abstraction hiding complexity by hiding unnecessary details, right? Where you show only relevant details to the user and hide not relevant details, right? Example, abstraction. For example, when you send an email to someone, right? You just click send and you get the success message. What actually happens? When you click send, how data is transmitted over network to the recipient is hiding from you. Why? Because it is not relevant to you. That's the case. This is an abstraction. Abstraction means hiding complexity by hiding unnecessary details. Advantage, restrict access to the internal operations, hiding implementation complexity, providing simple interface. Abstraction. Abstraction very important, right? Abstraction class cannot be used to instance stage object, right? Abstraction class, right? Virtual is keyword abstract method. Virtual. Normally Java has abstract keyword, but in C++ don't have abstract. This has virtual keyword. Virtual keyword, if we write virtual double get value, this is double being or integer like return type after get value method name equals 0. This is a pure virtual method. If one method have in pure virtual in class, this class automatically converts to abstract class. Once an abstract method is created inside the class, that class become an abstract class. Inheritance. Inheritance is very important. Forming a new class from an existing class as new class receiving the old class information. For example, the Nokia 110 has ability to sending and receiving text message. You need to create a new phone. It should contain video talk and online chatting and conference like this. And to send and receiving text, and also it has sending and receiving text. But at the moment, Nokia 110 phone has this method. At the moment, Nokia 110 also has this method, sending text and receiving text. Now we are going to develop new phone. It should be, we will develop sending videos, online chatting, online conference like this, we need to develop. And also it should be include sending message, receiving message, text message. Because of that, you don't know, you don't have to rewrite the process on the new phone. This case, no? Nokia 110 has sending text and receiving text. This means if not people write down again new phone, this method. We can use this method using the inheritance. That's the calling. If we are using inheritance, we can get this method to new phone. Advantage, code reusability. Reduce the development time and effort. Provide specialization, extendability. Can extend an already made classes by adding new features. We can add the new features using inheritance. Inheritance. Features A, features B, features C. This is a base class. This is a derived class. Base class nothing but superclass. Derived class nothing but subclass. Right? Base class has features A, B, C. Derived class has features A, B, C, and D. New features also have derived class. You can see this is an example of the inheritance, right? Base class, class name. After under the private, under the public, write some one of the method, right? Coutts, so method base class, right? After class is finished. After class derive public base. This means this coding right to inherit. Right to inherit base class to derived class. Right? Now base class inherit to the derived class. After this is a void display method, other method, and this method in the this method called show method. Show method having base class. But without create object, directly we can call to parent class method to subclass method, child class method. Or base class method can call directly subclass in the subclass method, right? After cout, after here also finish. After create a object, derived class object, derived class name to the object. After d.display. D.display means this method is called. No? After this method, inside this method called show method. This show method having base class. After this method is working, this output come display here. After secondly, this output also come, right? You can see. For example, this is a this method. This method is a Nokia 110, right? Nokia 110 method. This method is a Nokia 630, right? 630. After it has 110 has sending message, text message, receiving text message only. So all phone it only can sending receiving text only. After now you are going to develop new phone. It has sending videos, online chatting, video conference, everything. This is a right in here. Everything right. Right. I'm not able to write down text receiving and sending. But it has before already has. This means if we can get this one directly, but before we need to inherit. If we inherit, we can use this coding directly. This is using inheritance, right? Polymorphism. Polymorphism is the ability to of an object to take on many forms. One thing represented many forms, right? Polymorphism is a one thing represented more many forms, right? For example, suppose you are the person, right? So this person you have in the shopping complex. Your behavior like customer. No? You are in the shopping complex, your behavior in the customer. You are in the hospital, your behavior in the have like your behavior like patients. You are in the school, your behavior like student. You are in the home, your behavior like son or daughter. Right. This means one thing represent many forms. This is a polymorphism. Polymorphism is essentially divided into the two parts. You can see polymorphism static nothing but compile time polymorphism, dynamic nothing but runtime polymorphism. It This static polymorphism has two ways, right? Function overloading and operator overloading. Function overloading and operator overloading. Dynamic polymorphism has one thing, virtual function. Static compile time polymorphism. Static polymorphism is also called as earlier binding, right? For example, earlier binding, you take the train from the Kandy to Colombo. Right? Every day, you know very well. There is nothing to think about. You know very well how to go Colombo to Kandy or Kandy to Colombo. I tell you not to go from Kandy to Colombo, but to go to the Ampar. Now I tell to you, don't go to the Kandy to Colombo. You need to go Kandy to Ampar. You need to rethink. They will go to the Ampar. After this is late bind, right? This is a late bind. You know how to go to the Ampar to Kandy to Colombo. Normally every day you are travel to Ampar to Kandy to Ampar. Sorry, Kandy to Colombo. But now I tell to you, don't go to the Kandy to Colombo. You need to go Kandy to Ampar. After you need to think how it's going, right? This is a call late binding. If we know how to go Colombo to Kandy to Colombo, this is called earlier binding, right? This is a call earlier binding. And after a new thing, you need to decide how to go Kandy to Ampara. That is a call late binding. Memory allocated only at compile time. Memory allocated only compile time at compile time. This called compile time polymorphism. Function overloading have two ways. This function overloading has two ways: method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading. Two or more functions can have same name but different parameters. Class sum. Public void and x equal to L defined inside the method x equal to out x. Right? Two or more functions can have same name but different parameters. You can see same name at method but different parameters in text and int var. It is not fast two arguments, it has two arguments. Other is a small coding after out is set. After called this one some su. Su is object, su dot add mean no pass argument mean this method is pass. This means 12 output come. After add 13 and 14 mean this two arguments are passing mean this method is working. Calling. After 27 is output. This is the method overloading. Overloading. Ability to create multiple methods of the same name with different implementation. Use different parameters. Method overriding. Same name with the same parameters, but cannot be done with in one class. Inheritance would be the use. Yes. Inheritance would be used by same name, same parameters. Mean we can't define two things. For example, int x we can use the two times in same class. Same like we can write a same method two times in one class. That means we need to use inheritance should be the use method overriding. Class base and public void so and write a small output and end it. After close the class, after new class, derive class, public base mean inheritance, right? Public base after same void show method, right? Derive class out, right? Same show method, not but two classes implement. After base class BA to the base class create a BA object, derive class BA object to the show mean call this method, DA object to the call this method, base class of base class and derived class, right? Overriding. Allow a subclass or child class to provide the specific implementation of a method that is already provided by one of its superclass or parent class. Operator overloading. This very important things. Building data type in double or etc. Building data type. Very important that you know the building data type integer or double or float or string like this. Building data. But user defined data types, that are the user defined data type, meaning example class name, variable name. Right? If I create a class like A, I create a class A, I write something, right inside here, class A, right? Difficult, right? This case class A thing. After I create A dot something, obj, right? Object created B, object B, right? So obj, right? Class A to the class create object, object name obj. This is a class A is a user defined data type. User defined data type. Class A is I define. I create. User defined data type A is the variable. Integer double plot like this. This is a built-in data type. Right. The mechanism of giving such special meaning to an operator is called operator overload. We can give a special meaning for the given such special meaning of the mechanism. This is a called operator overloading. Right? If we can give a special meaning like the operator method plus method, right? Something we can give after come to the special meaning. Use plus or minus operator to a special thing. User define data type as with minus variable name. Like this. If you create object, you can see object is obj. Right? To the obj we can call operator overloading method minus or plus or according to the operator. So like and operator or logic, arithmetic or logic operator we can use this according to operator we can call. For example, using minus and object name, variable name, mean user defined variable, right? User defined variable type, right? After this variable name to the name we can call operator overloading method. I will discuss practically how can do this one. I think after you can understand what I'm said in here. Operator overloading. It has more operators have C++, right? This following operator cannot be the overloaded, right? We can use the cannot be overloaded this operator. Class member access dot to star scope resolution. You know, size of this is a method. Conditional operators and assessment and functions and subscription operator and class member access operator. That operators can't be the use operator overloading. Rules for overloading operators. Only existing operator can be overloaded, right? Only we can overload existing operator. New operator can't be the created. We can't create a new operator, right? We can't create. The overloaded operator must have at least one operand of user-defined type. Should be. No, the overloaded operator must have at least one operand of user-defined type. If we don't have one operand user-defined type, we can't overloading operator. We cannot change basic meaning of the operator. We can't change basic meaning. Overloaded operator follow the syntax rules of original operator. Unary operator overloaded by member function take no explicit arrangement and return no explicit value. Friends function take one array argument. Dynamic polymorphism, nothing but runtime polymorphism. Call as late binding. I already explained late binding, right? If we are going to the if you decide to go Candy to Ampara, right? Before you know how to go Candy to Colombo, right? Now you need to decide how to go Candy to Ampara. That's the called late binding, right? I will explain in practically how to write program. Memory allocated at runtime. This case called runtime polymorphism when we use dynamically. Virtual function, very important, right? Very important. Why? Two lessons I explain you virtual function and abstraction with this lesson, right? A class that contain pure virtual function. A class that contain pure virtual function is called as abstraction class, right? In the class has like this function. It's called pure virtual function. Right? You can say virtual is a keyword, void is return type, method name equals 0. This is a pure virtual function. It has one of the class has pure virtual function. It is called abstract class. No function body. Normally, no function body cannot create object of abstract class. Okay, very important that we cannot create object abstract class to the abstract class. If we have like this method in the class, this is automatically convert the abstract class. Abstract class cannot create a object, but can create pointer variable. Can create pointer variable. This is also very important. You can see this is a program earlier binding example. You can say this is a class base and class public void display, right? This is a method, display method, base class, output for the base class, right? And here, very simple class, sorry, here class finish. After class derived class, extend to the base class, right? After same display method, like our overriding and see out derived class. So output for the derived class. After also finish. Here also we class, two class. After void main, create a very important, create a variable pointer variable object base class. Base class to the base class, create a pointer variable object, a variable pointer variable after base class CC. You can see base class CC mean to the base class create a object, but we can create no error. Why? This is not abstract class. Here does not have abstract class. No, this display method it has body. No virtual keyword. This means this is not an abstract class. We can create object, no problem. After derive B, yes, second class object. This is object. This is a variable. After this variable address assigned to the derived class object address. After to the variable address call this method, right? Display method mean call that method, base class method, not call subclass method. This is a call earlier binding. Now other program, but you can see, right? Same here, not change. Same thing here. This program and this program, same thing, right? Not a change. Right? Not a change. A different thing only here base class CC. This is a commit. Why? Why? Can see in the public is a base class, base class. After under the public, create a method, right? Virtual void display equals 0. This is this is a pure virtual method. One of the class has a pure virtual method. It is converted to automatically abstract class. This means abstract class cannot create object. Abstract class cannot create object means if we are going to create base class to the object, this is error. We can't create object. That's the reason, right? This case, base class to the base class create a pointer variable. After here finish, you can see this base class is a abstract class. After derived class, base class extend to the derived class. After derived class has display method, this is a derived class, right? After finish, after void main, you can create a base class pointer variable. After derived class object, pointer variable address assigned to the derived class address. After p.display, to the p.display call, we can get this output, right? It first is called this method, right? But it is abstract now. After read from to the here, right? Read prompt to the here and display derived class like this output now. But if we not have this one, if we comment this one, we can't compile. It is as error, right? Through the this way is this through the this one use call to this one. This is a call abstraction, right? Without this virtual method, we can't call this method also. This is a call late binding, right? This is a call late binding. Message. Request to perform on operation. Function call return message. If we can use function, we can send to the message function to other. I think we can send the message and return message. If we can return the message, we can message, we can return. Communication among the object. We can, through the message, we can communicate among the object. Benefit of the object-oriented programming, eliminate redundant code. Yes, we can, if we have more code in our program, we can reduce the code using object-oriented concept. For example, inheritance, no, if we are using inheritance concept, we can reduce the code. We can remove the redundant code. Developing extensible software for future changes. You know extensible software in the past week discussed. Encapsulation and abstraction help to develop secure program. Yes, it is. I think, for example, password we can secure using private. Private we can use private access modifier to assign our password. We can restrict some our password. Software complexity can easy manage. Software complexity can easy manage. Right. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you have any doubt, you can send mail. Okay. Thank you.